Dexter for Fever subscriber, upgrade your ticket to become a Lexus member today and see the rest of our exciting 2010 season for a fraction of the cost. Coming soon, The Wedding Singer and our holiday production of Cole Porter's classic, Kiss Me Kate. See the box office representative for details. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy the show.
I'm so terribly afraid that some of the cards for these last-minute presents must have gotten mixed. Look at them, Tracy. Perhaps you can tell.
In a minute, Mother. I'm up to my neck in these blank thank you notes.
This stinks.
Don't say stinks, darling. If absolutely necessary, smells, but only if absolutely necessary. What is it?
I found it in Sandy's room. It's something that's going to be in a magazine, and it certainly stinks, all right.
Keep out of your brother's things, dear. And his house. 94 for the ceremony. 506 for the reception. I don't know where we'll put them all if it should rain.
It won't rain.
Uncle Willie wanted to insure against it with Lloyd's, but I wouldn't let him. If I were gone, and someone bet I wouldn't let it rain, I'd show him fast enough. The second page is solid Cadwallader. 26.
That's not a Cadwallader.
One, my child, is a lot of Cadwallader.
How do you spell omelet?
O-M-M-E-L-E-T.
I thought there was another N.
The omelet dish.
You said it was an omelet dish.
Well, it might be for fish.
Fish dish. That sounds idiotic.
I should simply say, thank you so much for your lovely silver dish.
All right, well, here's the card. Old Dutch muffin ear, circa 1810. What the? I am simply enchanted with your old Dutch muffin ear, with which my husband and I will certainly hear any muffin bumming a mile away.
Look at Tracy. Don't you think you've done enough notes for one day?
Don't disturb me. From Cousin Horace Maycomer, one pair of game shears. Looking like hell.
He's so awful. What did he send the other time?
No one to speak of sent anything the other time.
It's a pity your brother Junius can't be here for your wedding. London's so far away.
I miss old Junius. You did a good job when you had him, Mother.
Oh, the first is always the best. It deteriorates.
There was no occasion to send anything the other time.
This is certainly pretty Rudy-tooty, all right.
It's scarcely be considered a wedding at all the other time, when you rush off to Maryland on a minute's notice, as Dexter and I did.
10 months, quite long to be married, though. You can have the baby in 9, can't you?
I guess, if you put your mind to it.
Why didn't you?
Mother, don't you think it's time for her nap?
I imagine you and George will have slews of them.
Oh, I hope so, darling. All like you, with the same wild grace.
Look it, the other time, he's back from wherever he's been.
What are you talking about?
Dexter, of course. I saw his car in front of his house. The Roadster. It must be.
When? When did you?
This morning, early when I was out exercising the hoofer.
Why didn't you tell us?
I'm not worried, Mother. The only trouble Mr. C.K. Dexter Haven ever gave me was when he married me. You might say the same for one Seth Lord if you just face it squarely as I did.
That will do. I will allow none of you to criticize your father.
Well, what do you expect us to do when he
Did
treats
you hear me, Tracy?
All right, I give up.
And in lieu of this second attempt of yours, it might pay you to remind yourself that neither of us proved to be a very great success as a wife.
We just picked the wrong first husbands, that's all.
That's an extremely vulgar remark.
Who cares about either of them anymore? Oh, golly Moses, I'm going to be happy now.
Darling.
Isn't George an angel?
George is an angel.
Is he handsome or is he not?
George is handsome.
Sons, I'm a lucky girl.
I like Dexter.
Really? Why don't you ask him to lunch or something?
She's awfully mean about him, isn't she?
He was rather mean to her, my dear.
Did he really sock her?
Don't say sock, darling. Strike is quite an ugly enough word.
But did he really?
I'm afraid I don't know the details.
Cruelty and drunkenness, it said.
Dinah,
It was right in the papers.
you read too much. You'll spoil your eyes.
I think it's an awful thing to say about a man. I don't think they like things like that said about them.
I'm sure they don't.
Father's going to be happy when he reads all this about himself in that magazine Destiny when it comes out.
Oh, what? About who?
Father, that they're going to publish.
Dinah? What are you talking about?
It's what they call proof sheets for some article they're going to call Broadway and Finance, and Father's in it. And so they just sent it on to Sandy, sort of, on approval.
But the article, what does the article say?
Oh, it's partly about Father backing 3 shows for that dancer, what's her name? Tina Mara. And it's early history about the Staples and why he's living in New York instead of with us now.
Oh, great
Like that.
heaven, what on earth can we do?
Couldn't Father sue them for liable?
It's all true. It's all... that is, I mean to say that...
I don't think the part about Tina Mara is. The way they put it, it's simply full of an undo.
Of what?
Of an undo. Oh, I do wish something would happen. Nothing ever possibly in the least ever happens. Next year, can I go to the conservatory in New York? They should sing and dance and act everything at once together.
Save your dramatics, Dinah. What didn't Sandy tell me?
Mother, why won't Tracy ask her own father to her wedding?
Your sister has very definite opinions about certain things.
She's sort of, hard, isn't she?
Not hard. None of my children is that, I hope. Tracy sets exceptionally high standards for herself, that's all. And although she's able to live up to them, other people aren't always quite able to. If your Uncle Willie Tracy comes in, tell him to wait. I want to see him.
Tell me one thing. Don't you think it's stinking not to at least want Father?
Yes, darling. Between ourselves, I think it's good and stinking.
And I bet if Dexter knew what she... Hello? May I please speak to Mr. Dexter Haven? What? Dexter, it's you. A very great pleasure to have you back. Dinah, you goat, Dinah Lord. What? You bet. Listen, Dexter. Tracy said when I come right on over for lunch. She told me to ask you. Listen, though maybe it would be better if you... Hello? Hello?
Who's that?
Wrong number.
Listen, darling, give me a hand with this cockeyed seating arrangement, would you? Just come hold it down over here. George, just come up the grounds to the bridal table.
Hello, kids.
Sandy!
Where's Mother?
Oh, she's around. How's New York? How's Sue? How's the baby?
Blooming. They sent their love. Sorry they can't make the wedding. Is there a party tonight?
Of course. Aunt Geneva's throwing a monster.
Boy, am I going to get plastered. Hello, little fella.
Hello yourself.
This is for you, Mug. Get the 3 racehorses into the paddock. It's tough. Work it out.
Oh, thanks.
Susan, my wedding present comes by registered mail, Tracy. And a pretty penny it's set me back.
Oh, you're a bonny boy, Sandy. I love you.
Mutual.
I was wondering about you.
So here's. You look fine. Imagine this a grandmother. How's everything?
Absolute chaos.
Just the way you like it, huh? Just when you function best.
How's my precious grandchild?
Couldn't be better. Sue too. 10 more days in the hospital and back home they'll be.
I broke into your house and did up the nursery.
Good girl. Where's George, Tracy?
Oh, he's staying at the gatehouse. He still had some business things to attend to, and I thought he'd be quieter there.
Did he see his picture and dime? Was he sore at the former coal miner caption?
What about this absurd article about your father and Tina Mara in Destiny? Can't it be stopped?
Father, and let me see that.
Where'd you get hold of that?
Get ready for lunchtime, huh?
In a minute, I'm busy.
The absolute devils! Who publishes Destiny?
Sidney Kidd, also Dime inspired the picture sheet. I worked on Dime for 2 summers, you know that.
Stop! It's got to be. I'll go see it myself.
A fat lot of good that would do. You're too much alike. God save us from the strong. I saw Kidd the day before yesterday. It took about 3 hours, but I finally got through to him.
What happened?
I think I fixed things.
How?
That would be telling.
Just so long as your father never hears of it.
I had a copy of the piece made and sent it around to his flat with a little note saying, "How do you like it?"
Oh, you are a fella.
Sandy.
Why not? Let him worry a little.
Let him worry a lot.
Oh, yes, Thomas.
Mr. Connor and the lady say they will be down directly, sir.
Thanks, that's fine. Tell me or Elsie to look after Miss Indy, will you?
Very good, sir.
What's all this?
Mr. Connor and...
Mike Connor. Macaulay Connor, his name is, and Elizabeth Imbrie. I'm putting them up for the wedding. They're quite nice, you'll like them.
You ask people to come and stay in this house without even asking us?
I think it's very queer indeed.
I think it's queerer than that. I think it's paranoid.
Keep your shirt on. I just sort of drifted into them. And we sort of got to talking about what riots weddings are as a rule, and they'd never been to a Philadelphia one.
You're lying, Sandy. I can always tell.
Now look here, Tracy.
Look where? Elizabeth Imbrie. I know that name. Damn your eyes, Sandy. She's a photographer.
For a fact.
For a couple of facts. I'm the famous one.
Well, it might be nice to have some good shots of the wedding.
What are they doing here?
Just now, I suppose they're brushing up and going to the bathroom. They're very interesting people. She's practically an artist, and he's written a couple of books, and I thought you liked interesting people.
I do.
They're from Destiny. Destiny sent them! Destiny?
You're just a mass of intuition, Tracy.
Well, they can go right back again.
No, they can't. Not till they get their story.
Story? What story?
The Philadelphia story.
And what on earth is that?
Well, it seems Kidd has had Connor and Imbrie and a couple of others down here for 2 months doing the town. Writing it up. It's to come out in 3 parts in the autumn. Industrial Philadelphia, Historical Philadelphia, and then the third.
I'm going to be sick.
Yes, dear, fashionable Philadelphia.
I am sick.
But why us? Surely there are other families.
Yes! What are the Drexels, or the Biddles, or the Viquescase Cassots?
We go even further back. It's those Quakers. And then, of course, there's your former marriage, and your looks, and your general prowess in golf and fox hunting with a little big game on the side, and your impending second marriage into the coal field.
Oh, never mind that.
I don't, but they do. It's news, darling, news.
Is there no such thing as privacy anymore?
Only in bed, Mother, and not always there.
Anyhow, I thought I was late, and what else could I do?
A trade, eh? So, we're to let them publish the inside story of my wedding in order to keep Father's wretched little affair quiet.
It's completely and utterly disgusting.
It was my suggestion, not Kidd's. I may have been put in the way of making it. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the future president of the United States.
What's the writer's name again?
Connor. Macaulay Connor. I don't think he likes the assignment any more than we do. The gal either. They were handling the industrial end.
Oh, my heart's breaking for them.
I don't know what the world's coming to. It's an absolute invasion. 2 strange people tramping through the house, prying and investigating.
Maybe they're going through a revolution without even knowing it.
Oh.
Hello, is Mr. Briggs there? Mr. Briggs, it's Tracy Lord. Yes. Listen, Mr. Briggs, do you happen to have on hand any books by Macaulay Connor? You have. Could you surely send them out this afternoon? Thanks, Mr. Briggs, you're sweet. If they want a story, I'll give them a story. I'll give them one they can't get through the mail.
Oh, I was afraid of
Who the
this.
hell do they think they are? Barging in on peaceful people, jotting down notes, and we sit and stand and talk and eat and move.
Well, they do.
And all in that horrible, snide, corkscrew English. Well, if we are to submit to it, to save Father's face, which incidentally doesn't deserve it, I'm for giving them a picture of home life that will stand their hair on it.
You will do nothing nothing of the sort, Tracy.
She thinks she'll be the outrageous Miss Lord. The fact is, she'll probably be sweetness and light to the neck.
Oh, will I?
You don't know yet what being under the microscope does to people. I felt a little coming out in the car. It's a funny feeling.
It's odd how self-conscious we've all become over the worldly possessions that once made us so confident.
I know. You find yourself explaining away your dough the way you would a black eye. You just run into it in the dark or something.
We shall be ourselves with them, very much ourselves.
But Mother, you want us to create a good impression, don't you?
They don't know that we know what they're here for, I hope.
No, that was understood.
I think it would look awfully funny to them, Father not being here for his own daughter's wedding.
Would you now?
That's all right. I fixed that too.
How did you?
I told Sue to send a telegram before dinner. Confined to bed with a cold, unable to attend nuptials, oceans of love, Father.
Oh, not just in those words.
Not exactly. It'll come on the telephone and Thomas will take it, and you won't have your glasses, and he'll read it aloud to you.
Tracy, will you promise to behave like a lady, if only for my sake?
I'll do my best, Mrs. Lord. I don't know how good that is.
Go put a dress on.
Yes, Mother.
There are too many legs around here.
Suds! I'll be pure Victorian, all frills and ruffles, conversationally chaste as an egg. Hello, Uncle Willie. Where did you come from?
Your great aunt Geneva has requested my absence from the house until dinner time. Can you give me lunch, Margaret?
Of course, with pleasure.
Hello, Uncle Willie.
How are you, Uncle Willie?
Alexander and Dinah, good morning. My esteemed wife, the old warhorse, is certainly spreading herself for your party. I seriously question the propriety of any such display at such times, but she is... Why aren't you being married in church, Tracy?
I like the parlor here so much better. Didn't you think it looked pretty as you came through?
That is not the point. The point is that I've sung thousands in that church, and I'd like to get some use of it. Give me a glass of sherry, Margaret.
Oh, not until lunchtime, my dear.
Oh, these women.
You're really a wicked old man, aren't you?
What's that? Out there. Never play with fire, child. What's in that here? What's a spirit? What's in this?
Uncle Willie, do you know anything about the laws of libel?
Certainly I know about the laws of libel. Why shouldn't I? I know all about them. In 1916, I, Willie Q. Tracy, successfully defended the post and George Lorimer personally against one of the cleverest, one of the subtlest. Why? What do you want to say?
It isn't what I want to say.
Is it enough if they can simply prove that something's true?
Certainly not. Take me. If I was totally bald and wore a toupee, if I had flat feet with these damnable metal arches, false teeth, and a case of double...
Or Uncle Willie.
I said if I had.
Ha!
And if such facts were presented in the public prints in such a manner as to hold me up to public ridicule, I could collect substantial damages and would if it took me all winter.
Oh, suppose it were the other way around. Suppose they printed things that weren't true.
Suppose they did. Suppose it was erroneously stated that during my travels as a young man, I was married in a native ceremony to a dusky maiden in British Guinea. I doubt if I can collect consent. Who are these two strange people coming down the hall?
Oh, good gracious! All right, everybody out. How was she, Uncle Billy?
Who?
British Guinea.
So very unlike your Aunt Geneva, my dear.
Dinah,
But Mother, why did we...
Sandy can entertain them until we collect ourselves.
What am I saying?
I wish I could tell you in a few very well chosen words.
In here?
He said the sitting room. I suppose that's contrasted with the living room, or the ballroom, or the drawing room. Hello again. Here you are.
Here I am.
It's quite a place.
It is, isn't it? I couldn't help overhearing you as you came in. Do you mind if I say something?
Not at all. What?
Your approach to your job seems definitely antagonistic. I don't think it's fair. I think you ought to give us a break.
It's not a job I asked for.
I know it isn't, but in spite of it, and in spite of certain of our regrettable inherited characteristics, we just might be fairly decent. Why not wait and see?
You've got quite a style yourself. You're on the Saturday Evening Post, did you say?
I work for it.
What gent?
Editorial.
I have to tell you, in all honesty, that I'm opposed to everything you represent.
Destiny is hardly a radical sheet. What is it you're doing? Boring from within.
And I'm not a communist, not by a long shot.
Just a small pin feather in the left wing.
Sorry.
Jeffersonian Democrat.
That's more like it.
Have you ever seen his house at Monticello? It's quite a place, too.
Home team 1, visitors nothing. Is this house very old, Mr. Lord?
No, there are very few old ones on the main one. The gatehouses, of course. Father's grandfather built that for a summer home when they all lived on Rittenhouse Square. Father and mother did this just about 1910, the spring before my brother Junius was born. Look, he's the oldest. You won't meet him. He's in the diplomatic service in London.
Wouldn't you know?
I worked for Sidney Kidd once. What do you make of him?
A brilliant editor and a very wonderful man.
Also our bread and butter.
Sorry to have been rude.
So I suppose you're all of you opposed to the administration.
The present one? No, as a matter of fact, we're loyalists.
Surprise, surprise. The research department didn't give us much data. Your sister's fiancé, George Kittredge, age 32, since last year, general manager, Quaker State Coal, in charge of operation. Is that correct?
That's right, and brilliant as.
So I've heard tell. I seem to remember reading about him first back in 35 or 36. Up from the bottom, wasn't he?
Just exactly. And of the mines.
Reorganized the entire work.
He did.
National hero, new model. Makes drooping family incomes revive again. Anthracite, sweet anthracite. How did your sister happen to meet him?
She and I went up a month ago to look things over.
See, and was it instant?
Immediate.
Good for her. Must be quite a guy. Now, which side of this fine aboriginal family would you say she resembles most?
The histories of both are in the library. I'll get them out for you. I'll also see if I can round up some of the living members.
They don't know about us, do they?
Pleasant or not, don't you think?
Much.
That's what I thought. Also what Kid thought.
Look here, Lord.
Yes.
Why don't you just throw us out?
I hope you'll never know.
Meaning what?
Search me.
Maybe Dirk Kidder's been up to his little tricks.
Only I can get away from this damned paper.
Oh, it's Sidney himself. You can't get away from here.
Yeah, I tried to resign again on the phone this morning.
Knickknacks, gimcracks. Ooh, signed photographs.
Wouldn't you know you have to be as rich as the Lords to live in a dump like this?
Save me. It's a Gilbert Stewart.
What?
Catch me, Mom.
Think to the left, will you?
Oh,
First husband, C.K. Can you imagine what a guy named C.K. Dexter Haven must be like?
Macaulay Culkin's not such a homespun tag, my pet.
I've been called Mike since I can
Or
remember.
maybe Dexter was talking to his friends.
Doubt it. I just wonder what the C.K. is for.
Maybe it's Pennsylvania Dutch for William Penn.
C.K. Dexter Haven. God.
Well, I knew a plain Joe Smith once. He was only a clerk in a hardware store, but he was an absolute louse.
Oh, also, he plays polo. Also, designs and races sailboats. Class boats, I think they call them. Very upper class, of course.
Oh, don't despair. He's out, and Kittredge, man of the people, is in.
From all reports, quite a comer, too. Political timber. Poor fellow, I wonder how he fell for it.
Well, I imagine she's a young lady who knows what she wants when she wants it.
The young, rich, rapacious American female. There's no other country where she exists.
I'll admit, the idea of her scares even me. Would I trade places with her for all her wealth and beauty? Oh, boy. Just ask me.
Now I'm going to begin. So much for historical Philadelphia, so much for industrial. Now, gentle reader, consider an entire section of American society which, closely following the English tradition, lives on the land, but in a new sense. It is not the land that provides the living, no, it's the living
You're
that...
ahead of yourself. Wait till you do your documentation.
Well, I'm tired. Kid is a slave driver. I wish I were home in bed. Also, I'm hungry. Have 4 footmen call me in time for lunch, would you?
Oh, how do you do, friends of Alexander? So you're not.
Yes, we are. How do you do?
I'm Dinah Lord. My real name's Diana, but my sister changed it.
I'm Elizabeth Henry. This is Macaulay Culkin. It's awfully nice to be back.
Enchanté de vous voir. Enchanté de faire votre connaissance. I spoke French before I spoke English. My early childhood was spent in Paris where my father worked in a bank. The House of Morgan.
Really?
C'est vrai, absolument. Can you play the piano? I can, and sing at the same time. Listen. I
especially the best.
You live in this way for the occupation. What kind of calculations if you stay? I don't want any more riches. I just want to live with those old bitches. I wanna play piano in a whorehouse. Oh, the Bahamas. How well I remember them. Those perfume nights, the flowers, the native wines. I was there once. I little to a Leopold Stokowski.
You were there with her dolphiness after the whooping call.
My sister Tracy. Greetings, sister.
Mother wants to see you at once, at once.
You got on my hair ribbon.
Your face is still dirty. It's awfully nice having you here. I do hope you'll stay for my wedding.
Oh, we'd like to very
In
much.
fact, that was our idea.
I'm so pleased that the idea occurred to you. The house is rather a mess, of course. We all have to huddle together and overflow on the porch. I hope your rooms are comfortable.
Oh, very, thanks.
Anything you need, ask May or Elsie. They're magic. What a cunning little camera.
It's a context. I'm afraid I'm rather a nuisance with it.
Oh, but you couldn't be. I hope you'll take loads. Dear Papa and Mama aren't allowing any reporters in. That is, of course, except for little Mr. Grace, who does the social news. Can you imagine a grown-up man having to sink so low?
It does seem pretty bad.
People have always been so kind about letting us live our simple, uneventful little life here unmolested. Of course, after my divorce last year, but that always happens, I expect, and is more or less deserved. Dear Papa was quite angry, though, and swore he'd never let another reporter inside the gate. He thought some of their methods were a trifle underhanded. You're a writer, aren't you, Mr. Connor?
In a manner of speaking.
So Sandy told me. I sent for your books. Macaulay Connor. What's a Macaulay for?
Oh, my father taught English history. I'm Mike to my friend.
Of which you have many, I'm sure. English history's always fascinated me. Cromwell, Bloody Mary, John, the Bastard, Mary P.G. I mean your father.
In the high school in South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend. It sounds almost like dancing, doesn't it? You must have had a most happy childhood there.
It was terrific.
I'm so glad.
I don't mean it.
I'm so sorry, why?
Largely due to the lack of wherewithal, I guess.
Oh, but that doesn't always cause unhappiness, does it? Not if you're the right sort of man. George Kittredge, my fiancé, never had anything either, but he... Either of you married?
No.
That is no.
You mean you were, but now divorced.
Well, the fact is, I
Suds, you can't be you're ashamed of it.
Well, of course I'm not ashamed of it.
What?
It was ages ago. I was a mere kid in Duluth.
Good Lord, Liz, you never told me.
You never asked.
I know, but
Joe Smith. Hardware.
Liz, you're the damnedest girl.
I think I'm sweet.
Duluth? That must be a lovely spot. It's west of here, isn't it?
Sort of, but occasionally we get the breezes.
Is this your first visit to Philadelphia?
Just about.
Oh, it's a quaint old place, isn't it? I suppose it's affected somewhat by being the only really big city that's near New York.
Well, I think that's a very good point to make about it.
So I suppose you consider us somewhat provincial.
Not at all, I assure you.
Ah, customs and such. We're the scrappily fiddle on a Sunday. Of course, it is very old. Philadelphia, I mean, the scrapple is fresh weekly. How old are you, Mr. Connor?
I was 30 last month.
2 books isn't much for a man of 30. Oh, I don't mean to criticize. You probably have other interests outside your work.
No. Unless...
How sweet! Are you two living together?
No. Living together.
Well, that's a very odd question, I must say.
Why?
Well, it just is.
Is.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's very interesting. Miss Henry, don't you agree with me that all of this marrying and giving in marriage is the damnedest joke that's ever been put over on an unsuspecting mother?
Can she be human?
Please, Mr. Connor, I asked Miss Henry a question.
No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
Good. Neither do I. That's why I'm putting my chin out for the second time tomorrow. And here's the lucky man now. I'll bring him right in and put him on display
hellion.
We're getting Phil the size of a
Don't let
pinhead.
her throw
Do you
you.
want to take over?
I want to go home.
Mr. Connor, Miss Embry, Mr. Kittredge, my beau. Friends of Sandy's, too.
How do you do?
Any friend of
Hey,
Sandy's?
how are you?
Fine as silk, thanks.
Well, you certainly look it.
Oh, thanks. I've shaken quite a lot of coal dust from my feet in the last day or two.
Oh, isn't he beautiful? Isn't it amazing what a little soap and water will do?
Didn't I read a piece about you in the Nation a while ago?
Oh, quite a while ago. I've been resting on my laurels since that, and a couple of others.
Quite a neat piece of work, anticipating the Guffey coal act the way you did, or do I remember straight?
Oh, anyone should have foreseen that. I was just lucky.
A becoming modesty.
Oh, that's nothing to what yet to be done with labor relations.
You should see him with his men. They simply adore him.
Oh, come on, Tracy.
Oh, but they do! I'll never forget that first night I saw you. All those wonderful faces and the torchlights, and the way his voice just boomed.
You see, I'm really a spellbinder. That's the way I got her.
And it was I that got you! I'm going to put these two at the bridal table, George, and Blaze at the grounds.
That's a good idea.
George, it won't rain, will it? Promise me it won't rain.
Tracy, I will see to that personally.
No, I almost think you could.
I guess this must be love.
Your guess is correct, Mr. Connor.
Oh, I'm just his faithful old dog, Trey.
Give me your paw.
You got it.
How do you do? We're so happy to have you. Forgive me for not coming in sooner, but things are in such a state. I'd no idea a simple country wedding could involve so much. My little girl.
Mother.
I do hope you'll be comfortable. Those rooms are inclined to be hot in this weather. Aren't you pretty, my dear? Look at the way she wears her hair, Tracy. Isn't it pretty?
Mighty fine.
I do wish my husband might be here to greet you, but we expect him presently. He's been detained in New York on business for that lovely Tina Mara. You know her work.
Only vaguely.
So talented and such a lovely person, but like so many artists, no business head, none whatever. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Mrs. Lord.
And this is my youngest daughter, Diana.
Yeah, I think we've met.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
Now let's all relax and throw ourselves into things. Hi, George.
Hello, Sandy. Welcome home.
After lunch, Sandy must show you some of the sights. The model dairy, and the stables, and the chicken farm. And perhaps there'll be time to run you out to some of the other places along the main line. Devon's, St. David's, Bryn Mawr, where my daughter Tracy went to college.
Till she got bounced out of her.
Dinah.
Pretty kettle of fish when a man has to wait 2 mortal hours for
Papa! Dear Papa!
What's that?
Didn't the car meet you?
The car?
Oh, you angel! Drop everything and get here in time for lunch, isn't he, Mama?
Indeed he is.
I'm not one to jump to conclusions.
These are our friends, Mr. Connor and Miss Embry, Father. They're here for the wedding.
How do you do, Mr. Lord?
Hey, how are you?
Dashed fine. How are you?
Hi, Pops.
Alexander.
Welcome back, Daddy.
Dinah. Margaret! My sweet.
Mother, don't you think you better explain the new arrangement to Father before lunch?
Yes, I expect I should. Now, see here. Here is the list.
Holy
now,
cow.
Dexter Haven.
Hello, friends and enemies. I came the short way across the fields.
Well, this is a surprise.
I should
Think it is. Hello, you sweet thing.
Now, you go right home at once.
Remove yourself, young man.
But I've been invited. How are you, sir?
No, better, no worse. Get along.
Hello, Sandy.
How are you, boy?
Never better. In fact, it's immoral how good I feel.
What brings you here, Mr. Haven?
Dinah, my angel. Why, she's turned into a raving beauty. I'll be sweet and thoughtful of you to ask me to lunch, Trey.
No, not at all. That's your place, Thomas.
Yes, Miss Tracy.
Miss Embry, Mr. Connor, my former husband, whose name for the moment escapes me.
How do you do?
How are you?
Of course, I intended to come anyway, but it did make it pleasanter. Hello, Kittredge.
How are you, Haven?
What's the matter? You don't look as well as when I last saw you. Poor fellow. I know just how you feel. Redhead, isn't she in the pink? You don't look old enough to be married. Not even for the first time. You never did. She needs trouble to mature, Kittredge. Give her lots of it.
I'm afraid she can't count on me for that.
Oh, no? That's too bad. Sometimes for your own sake, I think you should have stuck to me longer, Red.
Oh, I thought it was for life. A nice judge gave me a full pardon.
That's the kind of talk I like to hear. No bitterness, no recrimination, just a good quick left of the jaw.
Very funny.
Luncheon is served.
Thank you, Thomas.
I don't suppose a man ever had a better or finer family. I wake in the night and say to myself, Seth, you lucky dog, what have you done to deserve it?
Miss Embry, do you mind if I go with Mr. Connor?
Why? Not at all.
Sandy's your boy.
Because I think he's such an interesting man.
Come on, Meyer. I troll you, I guess.
Isn't snatching one of my girls enough, you cad?
You're a very brave fellow, Haven. I'll hire you.
Oh, that's very insulting. I'm consistently interesting. We must speak more.
No wonder you want to get away from all this.
I don't know how welcome I am, but after Sandy's note, I thought the least I could do was...
Uncle Willie! Good morning, everyone. I'd like a word alone with Uncle Willie.
Well, daughter,
Well,
still justice with her shining sword, eh? Who's on the spot?
we are, thanks to you, Uncle Willie.
I may need more film.
I may need more paper.
There's a cousin, Joanna, who's definitely crazy.
Who told you?
Dinah?
Dinah should know.
Where is she now? I want to get some more shots of her while it's still light out.
She's out schooling a horse somewhere. It's the horses that get schooling hereabouts. Did you shoot the old tycoon milking his cows?
Several times. He shot one at me, but he missed.
Caption: 70 times 7, fat kine has he. George Kittredge, important official, important company, controlling interest, owned by Seth Lord.
Oh, what a coincidence, and wonders never cease.
I'm inclined to like Kittredge. See how she fell for him. I think he's in a tough spot with Haven prowling around, though.
He is a sinister fellow, Dexter.
It is very, but George is interesting. Give him a cold sometime.
I'd rather have him on toast.
Answer me honestly, Liz. What right has a girl like Tracy Lord to exist?
Politically, socially, or economically.
What place in the world has she? Come the revolution, she'll be the first to go.
Sure, right out from under the Red General's eye.
She's a new one on me. Maybe Philadelphia produces a different breed of monkey.
You're an odd fellow, Mike.
Why?
Use the name Wanamaker in a sentence.
Why?
I met a girl this morning. I hate
Oh,
her,
all
but
right, I get you, but you're wrong. You couldn't be wronger. Women like that bore the pants off me.
You know, for a writer, you use your figures of speech most ineptly. Oh, I wish they knew why we were here. They're all such sweet innocence in all this. Makes me feel...
Would you accept this perfect rose, Miss Embry?
Why, thank you, Mr. Lord. It's beauty.
Miss Embry is amused at something.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tracy. It's just so funny. You're being both uncle and nephew. I need to get a picture of you together.
Certainly. Now stand up straight, Lily. He is younger than I.
Oh,
It was a matter of half-sisters marrying stepbrothers.
I see that. It looks like they got it.
No incest, however.
Well, of course not.
There have been other things, however. Uncle Willie, I'm thinking of asking that little dancer, Tina Mara, to come down and dance with a wedding guest tomorrow. Do you think it's a good idea? Excellent. Might put an end to the ridiculous gossip about you and her. Is there gossip? There seems to be. Is it ridiculous? All gossip is ridiculous.
Look alive, men. Time to dress.
Oh, right you are. Thanks, Sandy.
Miss Imbrie,
Oh,
as a camera fiend, I think I have another interesting subject for you.
will I have time?
Time is an illusion. Come with me, please. It's part of the old house. A little removed from
Oh, but I...
an ancient granite trivia of superb design. A dream of love.
At sunset. Idyllic.
Please, wait a minute.
With pleasure. What's the matter?
I've been reading these stories. They're so damn beautiful.
You like? Thanks.
Connor, they're almost poetry.
Don't kid yourself, they are.
I can't make you out at all now.
Really? Thought I was easy.
Oh, so did I, but you're not. You talk so big and tough, and then you write like this. Which is which?
Maybe I'm both.
No. I think you put the toughness on to save your skin. Yes. I know a little something about that.
Do you?
Quite a lot. The book. Complete hell of a surprise is all.
Yes, it seems you do.
What?
Know about it.
The one called With the Rich and Mighty. I think I liked it best.
I got that from a Spanish peasant's proverb. With the rich and mighty, always a little patience.
Good. Tell me, when you can do a thing like this, how is it possible to do anything else?
Such as what?
What did you say after lunch? Oh, cheap stuff for expensive magazines.
Did I?
Yes. You said you spent most of your time that way.
You'll practically all lie. What about it?
I can't understand it. And I like to understand things.
You'll never believe it, but there are people in this world that have to earn their living.
Of course. But people buy books, don't they?
Sure they do. They even read them.
Well,
That one represents 2 solid years' work. It netted Connor something under $600.
that shouldn't be.
Only unhappily it is.
What about your Miss Imbrie?
Miss Imbrie is in somewhat the same fix. She's a born painter and might be an important one, but Miss Imbrie must eat. Also, she prefers to have a roof over her head as to constantly being out in the rain and
Oh,
snow.
food and a roof. Food and a roof.
Those charming essentials.
Listen, I've got an idea. No, listen. I've got the most marvelous little house in Unionville. It's on top of a hill with a view that would knock you silly. I'm never there much, except in the hunting season, and not much then. It would make me so happy to know that it was of real use to someone. There's a brook and a small lake, no size really, and in any kind of weather, it's just... Look at that sky now, will you? Suddenly it's clear as clear. It's going to be fine tomorrow. It's going to be fair. Good for you, God. Hell. Look, someone's coming. Someone I don't want to be alone with. Stand by a minute. Will you, please?
Certainly, if you like.
You will think about the house, won't you?
It's terribly nice.
Don't think I come trooping in every minute, because I wouldn't. I'd never come except when expressly asked.
It isn't bad.
Well, then what?
Well, you see, the notion of an artist having a patron has more or less gone out, and I...
Oh, I see. That wasn't especially kind, Mr. Connor. There's no need to rub our general uselessness in.
I'm afraid I don't get you.
Don't bother. I'm sorry to have seemed patronizing.
I didn't mean it.
Don't bother, really.
Hello.
Hello. Fancy seeing you here.
Orange juice. Certainly.
You sure you don't want something stronger? I'll bring it if you like.
Not now, thanks. This is fine.
Oh, don't tell me you've forsaken your beloved whiskey and whiskeys.
No, indeed. I've just changed the color, that's all. I go in for the pale pastel shades now. I find they're more becoming. We met at lunch, did we?
Yes, I seem to remember. Connor's the name.
The writer. Of course. Do you drink, Mr. Connor?
In a little while.
Not to excess?
Not often.
And a writer, it's extraordinary. I thought all writers drank to excess and beat their wives. I expect at one time I secretly wanted to be a writer.
Dexter, would you mind doing something for me?
Anything, what?
Get the hell out of here.
Oh, no, I couldn't do that. That wouldn't be fair to you. You need me too much.
Would you mind telling me just what it is you're hanging around here for? Oh, no, please, don't go. I honestly much prefer it.
So should I. Do stay, Mr. Connor. As a writer, this ought to be right up your street.
Don't miss a word.
Honestly, you've never looked better in your life. You're getting a fine, tawny look about you.
Oh, we're going to talk about me now, are we? Goody.
It's astonishing what money can do for people. Don't you agree, Mr. Connor? Not too much, you know. Just more than enough. Particularly for girls. Why, take a look at Tracy. There's never been a blow that hasn't been softened for. There'll never be a blow that won't be. Why, they even changed her shape. She was a dumpy little thing originally.
As it happens, I'm not interested in myself at the moment. What interests me is what, if any, your real purpose
Not
is.
interested in yourself, my dear. You're fascinated. You're far and away your favorite person in the world.
Dexter, in case you don't know it,
Shall I go on?
Yes, by all means, please do.
Of course, she is kindness itself, Mr. Connor.
Itself, Mr. Connor.
She's generous to a fault, that is, except to other people's faults. For instance, she never had the slightest sympathy towards, nor understanding of what used to be known as my deep and gorgeous thirst.
That was your problem.
It was the problem of a man in exceptionally high spirits who drank to slow down that damn pigeon he found nothing yet to do with. I refer to my mind. You took on that problem when you took me, Tracy. You were no helpmate there. You were a scold.
It was disgusting. It made you so unattractive.
A weakness, sure. And strength is her religion, Mr. Connor. She's a goddess without patience for any kind of human imperfection. And when I gradually discovered that my relationship to her was expected to be not that of a loving husband and a good companion, but... Oh, never mind.
Say it.
But that of a kind of high priest to a virgin goddess. Then my drinks became more frequent and deeper in hue, that's all.
Never considered you as that, nor myself.
You did without knowing it. And the time you got drunk on champagne, went out on the roof and stood there naked with your arms out to the moon, wailing like a banshee.
I told you I never had any recollection of ever doing any such thing.
I know, you drew a blank. You wanted to. Mr. Connor, what do you think of the case?
He's a reporter, incidentally. He's doing us for Destiny.
Sandy told me. A pity we can't supply the photographs of you on the roof.
Oh, honestly, the fuss you made over that silly child shape.
It was enormously important and most revealing. The moon is also a goddess, chaste and virginal.
Stop using those foul words. We were married nearly a year, weren't we?
Marriage doesn't change a true case like yours, my dear. It was an affair of the spirit, not of the flesh.
Dexter, what are you trying to make me out of?
Tracy, what do you fancy yourself as?
I don't know that I fancy myself as anything.
When I read you were going to marry Kittredge, I couldn't believe it. How in the world can you even think of it?
I love him, that's why. As I never even began to love you.
That may be true, but I doubt it. I think it's just a swing for me and what I represent, but I think it's too violent to swing. That's why I came on. Kittredge is no great tower of strength, Troy. He's just a tower.
Known him how long? Half a day.
I knew him 2 days, 2 years ago when I went to the fields with your father, but half a day would have done nothing.
Oh, so it's just personal then.
Purely and completely.
You couldn't possibly understand him or his qualities. I shouldn't expect you to.
I suppose when it comes right down to it, Trey, it just offends my vanity that anyone who is ever remotely my wife should be married so obviously beneath her.
Beneath me? How dare you, any of you, in this day and age?
I'm talking about a difference in mind and imagination. You could marry Mac the Night Watchman and I'd cheer for you.
And what's wrong with George?
Nothing. Utterly nothing. He's a wizard at his job. I'm sure he's honest, sober, and industrious. He's just not for you.
He is for me. He's a great man and a good man. Already he's of national importance.
Good Lord, you sound like destiny talking. Well, whatever he is, you'll have to stick, Trey. He'll give you no out like I did.
I will require one.
I suppose you'd still be attracted to a man of spirit, though. There's something engaging about it, this virgin goddess business. Something more challenging to the male than the more obvious charms.
Really?
Yes. We're very vain, you know. This citadel can and shall be taken, and I'm just the boy to do it.
You seem quite contemptuous of me all of a sudden.
Not of you, Red. Never of you. You could be the damnedest, finest woman on this earth. If I'm contemptuous of anything, it's of something in you you either can't help or make no attempt to. Your so-called strength, your prejudice against weakness, or blank intolerance.
Is that all?
That's the gist of it. Because you'll never be a first-class woman or a first-class human being until you've learned to show some regard for human frailty. Pity your own foot can slip a little sometimes, but no, Your sense of inner divinity won't allow it. The goddess must and shall remain intact. There are a lot more of you around than many people realize. You're a special class of American female now, the married maidens. And of 10 Philadelphianenses, you're the absolute tops, my dear.
Damn your soul, Dex, if you say one more word!
I've said my say for now, Tracy.
Well, I suppose I ought to object to this twosome.
That would be most objectionable. Well, anytime either of you need any more advice from me,
When we do, we'll give you a ring.
then do that, will you? You'll find I have a most sympathetic and understanding ear. I left you a little wedding present on the table. Have any ribbon to tie it up with?
See, it's no use even attempting to be friendly.
Certainly not. You were a dear to try. Please don't mind.
You got taken when you bought that roan. She's parajawed.
Get into a tub. You're revolting.
What's more, she swallows wind by the bucket.
Where's Miss Embry? Wasn't she with you?
No, she's gone to Privy with Uncle Willie.
It's anyone's guess what this might be. It's a photograph of the trooper.
What's that?
A boat he designed and built, practically. We sailed her up the coast of Maine and back again the summer we were married. She was dark.
Yarn. What does that mean?
Easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast, right, everything about ship. And to hell with it.
Rather bad taste, I'd say, giving you that.
Well, Dexter never concerns himself much with taste.
How do you ever happen to marry a fellow like that, Tracy?
I don't know. I suppose it was sort of a hangover from my childhood days. We grew up together.
I see. Propinquity.
Oh, George. To get away from it all. To get away. Somehow to feel useful in this world.
Useful? Well, I'm going to build you an ivory tower with my own 2 hands.
How funny you are.
You mean you've been in one too long?
I mean that and a lot of things.
I'm going to make a grand life here, and you can help all right.
I hope I can.
From now on, we'll stop wasting time on unimportant people.
That's all right by me.
Our little house on the river up there, I'd like people to consider it an honor to be asked of it.
Why an honor, especially?
We're going to represent something, Tracy, something straight and sound and fine. Then perhaps young Mr. Haven may be somewhat less condescending.
George, you don't really mind him, do you? I mean, the fact.
I don't see what you mean, Trey.
I mean, that he was ever, my lord and master, that we ever...
Well, I don't believe he ever was, not really. I don't believe anyone ever was, or ever will be. That's the wonderful thing about you, Trey.
Wait, what?
You're like some marvelous, distant, queen, I guess. You're so cool and fine and always so much your own. That's the wonderful you and you that no one can ever really possess, that no one can touch hardly. It's a kind of beautiful purity, Tracy. That's the only word for it.
George!
Oh, it's grand. It's just grand. Everyone feels it about you. It's what I first worshipped before, Tracy. It's from afar.
George!
First, now, and always. Only from a little nearer now, eh, darling?
George, I don't want to be worshipped. I want to be loved.
Oh, you're that too. You're that, all right.
I'm really loved.
But that goes without saying, Tracy.
And now it's you who doesn't see what I mean. Well, you can just leave those there, Thomas. Thanks.
Shall I put this picture with the other presents, Miss Tracy?
No, just leave it on the table.
Yes.
Don't let Miss Embry get a hold of it.
I should say not.
Well, I hope they'll self-pedal the first marriage.
They pedal their way right out here.
And they've got a job to do, Tracy, and it's an honor, you know?
What is?
Why, to be done by destiny.
Are you joking?
Joking.
You can't honestly think it's a good idea.
Well, I think destiny fills a very definite place, Tracy.
George!
Aren't driven.
Oh!
And Tracy, you're the guest of honor. You mustn't be late.
Right on my way, ma'am. Wait for me, Tracy. I make the gatehouse and nothing flat now.
Does he by any chance ever walk anywhere?
When he likes, I expect.
I have a feeling he's going to take the ring tomorrow and go through center with it.
Oh, Sam, you idiot.
That's very amusing, I'm sure.
Oh, don't take things to heart, so Tracy. You'll wear yourself out.
I will be a minute.
There's no hurry, Miss Embry.
What bothers me at the moment is the spectacle beside the point.
Never in my life have I felt so self-conscious. It's all simply dreadful.
It's worse. It's stupid and childish and completely undignified.
So are other things.
They can publish what they like about
My
you.
idea is they'll publish nothing about any of us.
How do you propose to stop them?
I don't quite know yet.
Well, at present, the least we can do is to inform Connor and the Campbell lady that we are all quite aware of their purpose here. I insist on that.
All right. I'll tell them myself.
I think it will come better from me, don't you, as at least titular head of the family?
Of course. Inasmuch as you let us in for it in the first place.
Do keep that nose out of your voice, Tracy. It's most unattractive.
Oh, how does Miss Mora talk? Or does she purr? Tracy!
It's all right, Margaret.
Sweet low, I expect. Dulcet, very ladylike. You've a fine right you have. After the way you treated Mother, after the way you treated us all. A magnificent right to come back here in your best country manner and strike attitudes and make stands and criticize my fiancé.
Stop it instantly.
Oh, I can't help it. It's sickening. As if he'd done nothing at all.
It's no concern of yours. If it concerns anyone, it concerns... Well, actually, I don't know whom it concerns. Except your father.
That's very wise of you, Margaret. What most wives won't seem to realize is that their husband's philandering, particularly the middle-aged kind, has nothing whatever to do with them.
Oh. What has it to do with?
A reluctance to grow old, I think. I suppose the best mainstay a man can have as he gets along in years is a daughter. The right kind of daughter.
That's very interesting, to say the least.
One who loves him blindly, as no good wife ever should, of course. One for whom he can do no wrong.
How sweet.
I'm talking seriously about something I thought out thoroughly. I've had to. I think a devoted young daughter gives a man the illusion that youth is still his.
Very important, I suppose.
Very. And without her, he's inclined to go in search of it again. Because it's as precious to him as it is to any woman. But with a girl of his own, full of warmth for him, full of foolish, unquestioning, uncritical affection.
None of which I've got.
None. You have a good mind, a pretty face, and a disciplined body that does what you tell it. You have more wealth than any of us, thanks to one grandfather's name and another's red hair, and a shameless play for both of them since about age 3.
Oh,
In fact,
never! I love them!
in fact, you have everything it takes to make a lovely woman except the one essential, an understanding heart. Without it, you might just as well be made of bronze.
That's an awful thing to say to anyone.
Indeed it is.
So I'm to blame for Tina Mara, am I?
If any blame attaches to some extent, I expect you are.
Coward!
No, but better to be one than a prig and a perennial spinster, however many marriages.
Seth, that's too much.
I'm afraid it's not enough. I'm afraid that nothing is.
What did you call it?
Do you want me to repeat it?
Now I understand a great deal that I didn't.
It's all past now, Margaret. It has been for some time. Forgive me. You won't have to again. I understand a lot more than I did as well.
Prig. So you mean to say that you think, that I think, that I'm some kind of a virgin goddess or something?
If your ego wishes to call it that, yes. Also, you've been talking like a jealous woman.
What's the matter with everyone all at once anyway?
Miss Imbrie preferred dressing to my company. What do you make of that, Uncle Willie?
We're going to drop all this. From now on, you're yourself again, and so am I. I shall tell them who know what their tender mission is, and at the first opportunity.
It's a pity. It was jolly good fun. Let's have a drink.
Tommy, let's do that.
We're all so completely commonplace. I don't see no interest in anyone.
I think that dress makes up a little behind.
No, it's me that does.
You look adorable, Tina.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. Thanks ever so much.
A wedding without ushers and bridesmaids. Peace. It's wonderful.
I'm the bridesmaid. So can I have a cocktail last? Can I?
Absolutely not.
It's a dirty jip.
Tracy. Champagne instead.
Thanks, Sam.
Excuse, please, I forgot. Remember.
Never. The girls dement.
But prinks don't.
What's that?
Nor spinsters.
We don't get you.
Nor goddesses, virgin or otherwise.
Not completely, just borderline case. Oh, hello, you were quick.
Miss Imbrie, you are a dream of loveliness. A cocktail or champagne?
Champagne, thanks. I've never had enough.
I will tonight.
Look, champagne flew, Mr. Lord. That is to say that...
Excuse me.
Mr. Lord, Miss Embry and I have something on our minds.
Well, that's splendid. Just the place for it. What?
Well, it's about the reason that we're here and so forth.
I think perhaps there's something I ought to explain too.
Have you ever heard of a man named Sidney Kidd?
And have you ever heard of a man named Seth? What is it, Thomas?
They've just phoned a telegram, Mr. Lord.
Give it here.
It's for Mrs. Lord, Mr. Tracy.
And why didn't you say so?
Mrs. Lord and Miss Lord, there is.
Read it, Thomas. I haven't my glasses.
Hey, wait a minute.
Read it, Thomas.
Most frightfully sorry, will not be able to get down for the wedding, as I'm confined in my bed with everything wrong. Baby better. It was only gossip. Love, father. Is there any answer?
Thomas. None in this world.
He got a little nicked up, didn't he?
A common mistake. Now, do you understand, Mr. Connor?
I think we do.
Oh, it's wonderful. Lord knows where we go from here.
To Aunt Geneva's. Come on, everybody.
My first party! And about time.
Who'll come in my little car with me?
Seth and Dinah and I. Sandy, will you bring Miss Imbrie and Mr. Connor?
Like a shot.
Oh, the evening is pregnant with possibilities.
Full of is better clear.
Achoo!
What was it?
Oh, nothing. You know, I feel exactly as though I've been pinched.
Don't think you would.
Aren't you coming?
I'll follow along with George.
What's the matter with you, Tracy?
You tell me, will you?
Damn if I know. I'd like to.
Well, if you should happen to find out.
I'll tell you. Sure.
Thanks. And remember, Mike, with the rich and mighty.
Always a little patience. Yes, Highness. I will.
Do that!
question is, can we get away with it?
You've got to get away with it. You must,
Is it
Sandy.
me? It's your idea, not mine.
What difference does that make?
You get the ideas and I do all the work.
Oh, Sandy.
Okay.
What you don't already know about the great Sydney Kid, you can certainly fill in from Mike's ravings tonight.
I used to have that dime to go down pretty pat.
It's the chance to write a beauty, you know it is.
Then I swap it with Kid for Connor's piece on us. And where am I?
You have the satisfaction of knowing you've saved the lot of us, single-handed.
And what if he won't swap?
I'm not worried about that.
I suppose there's a fair chance the post would go.
Of course, you can't possibly lose now. Come on, it'll be long. How long will it take you?
3,000 words. All night there's left of it. Holy cats, you get to
You
bed!
got a typewriter.
My old coroner's upstairs, I think.
Make it smoke.
You bet.
Son, I can't stand it. You won't fall asleep.
I've drunk nothing but black coffee since Connor began his lecture.
Oh, Sydney Kid. His habits, his habitat, and how to hunt him.
Poor Connor must have been bottled up in him for years.
Later, another bottle.
No. I've got enough for 3 articles now. Profile, full face.
Also rear elevation. Mike and Liz, they mustn't suspect Sandy.
Oh no, oh my, no.
They have simply stepped in their own chewing gum is all. I suppose Kid has one of those private numbers the rich and mighty hide behind in New York.
I'll take it down to Liz and give him a buzz.
What will you say?
I'll be brief. Bluff! Belligerent! Hey, lay off that.
Hi.
You are already in wine, sister.
You lie. It never affects me, not the slightest.
That's because you never take
Well,
it.
even if I did,
Don't say that, it's unlucky. I have seen people fly in the face of Connery before.
I've just got a good head. I
Don't
guess.
say it, don't say it.
Sandy, you idiot.
George will spank me.
Spank George for the way he behaved.
He had a right to be sore. You and Connor were gone for 2 hours at least.
You were along.
All the same, tongues wagging like tails. George said that you
George
could-
wanted to leave sharp at 12. How could we?
They need a lot of sleep, those big fellas.
They must. Then at 1 with Mother and Father and Dinah. Then at 2. Then at 3. Every hour. On the hour. We fought like wolves in the car coming home.
I hope you explain.
Certainly not. He was extremely rude. He should have known. You'd have thought I'd been out with Dexter. I wonder where Dexter was. How expected him to. I don't like the look behind Dexter's eyes. It makes me sad.
Don't be sad, Tracy.
Sandy. If you knew how I envy you and Sue, that darling little fat creature you just produced.
You'll probably have 4 or 5 of your own any day now.
6. I hope. I do hope that I'm good for something besides knocking out golf balls and putting horses over fences.
No good for my money.
Thanks. Was I really mean to George, I wonder? I don't want to be.
You're in an odd mood, little fella. What's amiss? What's amiss?
I suppose it's just that a lot of things that I always thought were terribly important turn out not to be. And the other way around, and then... the hell with it.
I don't think I'd spend much more time with Connor tonight if I were you.
Why not?
Writers with wine sauce intoxicate little girls.
They sort of do, don't they? He fascinates me. He's so violent, Sandy.
He's fallen, Trey. I could hear him bump.
Oh, mind your own business, old nosy bug.
Get me to bed
No.
before you have to be
No,
carried.
no. I feel too delicious. Oh, Sandy, I feel just elegant. Is that my bedroom telephone?
Now you're hearing things. Give me the bottle.
Couldn't be anyone but George. I was sort of swinish to him. Suppose I'd better go. And as for you, get to work, you dog. Stop leaning on your shovel.
Listen. Now I'm really underway. Miss not an inflection.
Is it Connor the poet or Connor the conspirator?
Both. No light wages, balding, battle-browed Sydney Kid. No mean displacement is for windy bias by carbon. Ooh, that's fine. funny stuff. I'm used to whiskey. Whiskey's a clap on the back. Champagne, entwining arm.
That's pretty. Is it poetry?
Time will tell.
Huh?
None before him, but Reiner Vulcan Goethe has known all about all. Gigantic was Goethe's out, but bigger already his kids. Example from his own family. Pittsburgh is a gentle city.
Sydney is a gentleman man.
Potent, able, beady-eyed scion of great wealth in Quaker Town. Why don't you do a piece on our great and good friend?
On Kid.
On none other.
Nimble Scrivener, it's an idea.
Brilliance. I wish I thought of it.
Baby giant tycooness.
But would it not be a low-down, dirty deed?
No, he'd print a scandal about his best friend. He said he would.
Who is his best friend?
I guess Santa Claus. What is this mist before my eyes?
Tell you what, let's all have a quick swim to brighten us up. Go get Liz.
Not me, it's too cold and dirty.
It's the best hour of the day. Dexter and I always swam after party.
I haven't got any bathing suit.
You don't need any fun. It's just ourselves.
Why don't we dip into this instead?
No takers. Get Liz anyway, Sandy.
If she's not in bed. Or even if she is.
That was a funny thing you just did.
Maybe.
For a moment, you made me self-conscious.
Wow, about what?
Never mind. Hello, you.
Hello.
You look fine.
I feel fine.
Quiet.
They say.
Did you enjoy the party?
Oh, sure. The prettiest sight in this fine, pretty world is the privileged class enjoying its privileges.
Also something of a snob.
How do you mean?
I'm wondering.
Consider, gentle reader, they toil not, neither do they spin.
Oh, yes, they do. They spin in circles.
Quote, awash with champagne was Mrs. Willie Q. Tracy, born Geneva Biddle, stately pleasure dome on a hilltop in Smartradner, PA. A Saturday night late in June, the eve of her great niece's. Tracy, you can't marry that guy.
George? I'm going to. Why not?
I don't know. I thought I'd be for it, but somehow you don't seem to match up.
Well, then the fault's with me.
Well, maybe so. All the same, you can't do it.
No. Come round here about noon tomorrow. I mean today.
Tracy,
Yes, Mr. Connor.
how do you mean I'm a snob?
You're the worst kind there is. An intellectual snob. You've made up your mind awfully young, seems to me.
30's about time to make up your mind. I have nothing of the sort, not Mr. Connor.
The time to make up your mind about people is never yet. You are. And a complete one.
You're quite a girl.
You think?
I know.
Thanks, Professor. I don't think I'm exceptional.
You are, though.
I know any number like me. You ought to get around more.
In the upper class, no thanks.
Just a mass of prejudices, aren't you? There's so much thought and so little feeling, Professor.
Oh, I am I?
Yes, you am, are you? Your damned intolerance infuriates me. I mean, infuriates. I should think of all people a writer would need tolerance. But the fact is, you can't be a first-rate writer or a first-rate human being until you've learned to show some small regard for you. Aren't the geraniums pretty, Professor? It's not a handsome day.
Lay off that professor, would you?
Yes, Professor.
Well, you've got all the arrogance of your class, all right,
Oh,
haven't you?
holy sons, what have classes to do with it?
Quite a lot.
Why? What do they matter but for the people in them? George comes from the so-called lower class, Dexter from the upper.
Well.
No, there's a great deal to be said for Dexter, don't you forget.
I'll try not to.
Matt the Night Watchman is a prince among men, and Joey the stable boy is a rat. Uncle Hugh is a saint. Uncle Willie, well, he's a pincher.
So what?
There just aren't any rules about human beings, that's all. You're teaching me things, Professor. This is all new to me. Thanks. And behold.
Not.
Upper and lower my eye. I'll take the lower, thanks.
If you can't get a drawing room.
What do you mean by that?
My mistake.
Decidedly.
Okay.
You're insulting.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't apologize.
Who the hell's apologizing?
I never knew such a
You
man.
wouldn't be likely to, dear, not from where you sit.
Talk about arrogance.
Tracy,
What do you want?
you're wonderful.
Professor, may I go out?
Class is dismissed. Miss Lord, will please wait.
Miss Lord is pretty.
There is a magnificence in you, I'm telling you.
Now I'm getting self-conscious again. It's funny. Go up, I guess. It's late.
It's the magnificence that comes out of your eyes. It's in your voice, and the way you stand there, and the way you walk. And you're lit from within, bright, bright, bright. There are fires banked down in you, heart fires and holocausts.
Haven't seemed to you made of bronze then?
You're made of flesh and blood. That's the blank, unholy surprise of it all. You're the golden girl, Tracy, filled with love and warmth and delight. Now, what the hell is this? You've got tears in your eyes.
Mike, keep talking. Keep talking.
Stop.
Why? Has your mind taken hold again to you, Professor?
Think.
Yes, Professor.
Well, a good thing, don't you agree?
No, Professor.
I dropped that professor.
Yes, Professor.
That's really all that I am to you, is
Of course, Professor.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am very much Professor.
Tracy, let me tell you something. It must be something like love.
No! No, it mustn't be. It can't.
Why would it be inconvenient?
Terribly! Anyway, it's not. I know it's not. Oh, Mike. Mike, I'm a bad girl.
You,
We're not about love.
right into our hearts.
To have music.
It hasn't it? Tracy, you wonderful girl.
They're coming.
The hell?
Listen, it's not far to the pool. It's just over the lawn through the birch grove. It'll be lovely now. All right. Oh, God. Oh, my insides are melting away. I'm like a free to play or something.
Oh, quick, come on.
I feel so small all at once.
You are immense. You're tremendous.
Not me. Put me in your pocket, Mike.
You give those back.
Tracy, look.
May I have them, please?
Did Kid know you took these shots of him?
Some of them.
Sit down. Have a drink.
I should say not. A drink would be redundant, tautological, and a mistake. Is that milk?
That is milk.
Give me milk. I will accept. I met this cow this afternoon. Nice. Bossy.
Let me keep just these 3 shots.
What for?
A low purpose.
Sufficient enough? reproduce them?
Nope.
Or cause them to be reproduced?
Honest.
In any way, shape, or manner without permission?
So help me, Sydney Kid.
Hey man!
What's his private number?
His private number or a sacred private
The
number?
one by the bed in the bathtub.
Region 41416. I won't tell you! Is Mr. Kittredge really pure gold, Lord?
We must never doubt that, Missy.
Say, His Majesty, excuse it, please.
Regent 41416, New York. Wayne 2223. And Mr. Connor. What of him?
Percentage of base metal? Alloy.
So.
Which implies a certain shape and firmness.
Hello, Mr. Kidd. This is Alexander Lord.
I know nothing about this!
No, I'm in Philadelphia. Yes, I know it is. It's early here, too. Look, Mr. Kidd, I think you'd better get over here as fast as you can. Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, sir, but Connor's had an accident. Yes, pretty bad. He had a pretty bad fall. No, it's his heart we're worried about now. Yes, I'm afraid so. He keeps talking about you, calling you names. Calling your name. How's that? No, the 11 o'clock's time enough. We don't expect him to regain consciousness much before then.
His only hope is to get fired. I know it is.
Sorry, Miss Avery's sleeping. Shock. The newspapers. No, they don't know anything about it. I understand. Well, I said I understood, didn't I? 1220 North Philadelphia. I'll have you met. He wants no publicity.
Who was that?
God.
Do I hear someone?
It's Mac, the night watch. Liz, you're in love with Connor, aren't you?
People ask the oddest questions.
Why don't you marry him?
I can't hear you.
I said, why don't you? Oh, hello, here's an early one.
Hello. Saw quite a day ahead and got myself up. Good party?
Fine.
Good.
And sufficient. Hell or high water, I'm going to bed.
Why don't you, Liz? You know what I asked.
Because he's got a lot to learn, and I don't want to give him his way yet a while. Okay?
Okay. Risky though. Suppose another girl came along in the meantime.
Oh, I'll just scratch your eyes out, I guess. That is, unless you're going to marry someone else the next day.
You're a good number, Liz.
No, I just photographed one.
Complications?
There might be.
Where are they? The complications.
They went up. At least I hope and pray that they did.
Well.
Make yourself comfortable next. I've got a little blackmailing to do.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm a friend of the family's just dropped in for a chat.
Don't try to be funny. I asked you a question.
I might ask you the same one.
Telephone Tracy your phone didn't answer.
I didn't tell it when I just came right over.
I was worried, so I thought that
Yes, I was worried too.
About what?
What do you think of this Connor? Or do you?
What about him?
Just wondering.
Listen, if you're trying to insinuate something...
No, I wouldn't dream of it. That was a bad idea. Look, Kittredge, I advise you to go to bed.
Oh, you do.
I strongly urge you to do so at once.
I'm staying right here.
You're making a mistake. Somehow I don't think you'll understand.
You better leave that to... Here's someone walking.
Yes, must be Mac. It's all right, Mac. It's only us. Come on, I'll walk along with you.
I'm staying right here, and so are you.
All right, then. Take the works, and may God be with you.
Oh, take me upstairs, Mike.
Yes.
What
Easy, old boy. She's not hurt.
No, she's...
Not wounded, sire, but dead.
She hasn't any clothes on.
Not a stitch. It's delicious.
It seems the second she hit the water...
Likely story, Connor.
What did you say?
I said a likely story.
Listen, if you want to talk...
You'll come back down again directly?
If you want.
I want.
Hello, Dexter. Hello,
Second door at the right at the top of the stairs. Mind you, don't wake Dinah.
Oh, my feet are made of clay. George, did you know that? Good night. Sleep well, little man.
Look out for Dinah. How are the mighty fallen? But if I know Tracy and I know her very well, she'll remember very little of this. The second time in her life, she may draw quite a tidy line. She may worry, though.
Good God!
So you believe it, then? Believe what? The implications of what you've seen, let's say? What else is there to believe? Well, I suppose that's entirely up to you. I've got eyes and I've got imagination, haven't I? I don't know, have you? Oh, so you pretend not to believe it? Yes, I pretend not to. But if you don't know when, possibly not. You're a blind fool. Oh, quite possibly. God. You're not going to be too hard on her then, will you? I make up my own mind what I do. Well, we're all only human, you know. All of you with your damn sophisticated ideas. Isn't it hell? You low down, no good. The lady is my wife, Mr. Connor. Oh, you! What right have you? A husband's. Till tomorrow, Kittredge. Oh, I'll make up my mind, all right. You okay, old man? I know. I'm sorry, but I thought I better hit you before he did. Hello, Mac. How are you?
Hello, Dexter. Everything okay?
Everything's fine. Just as quiet as a church.
Who is it? Oh, hell, I thought it might be Kittredge.
We can't have everything, Mac.
I am trying to think, Mr. Tracy.
Well?
She waited late, sir, and had a tray in her room. I believe me and Elsie are just now dressing.
It's not the bride I'm asking about. It's her sister.
I haven't seen Miss Dinah since breakfast, sir. She came down rather early.
Is there anything wrong with her?
I did notice she seemed a trifle silent. Took only one egg and neglected to finish her cereal. The hotcakes and bacon, however, went much as usual.
She was telephoning me like a mad woman before I was out of my tub. I expected at least 2 bodies, packed beyond recognition, the house stiff with police. Good God, child, don't do that. I drank champagne last night.
Oh,
Why must I come unheaded your Aunt Geneva? Why must I waste not 1 minute? What's amiss? What's about? Speak up. Don't stand there with your big eyes like a stuffed owl.
Is there anything else, sir?
Thanks, Thomas. Nothing.
come over here and speak very low. Nobody's allowed in this room this morning but Tracy, and speak terribly low.
What the Sam Hill for? What's a lamp? What's a foot?
I had no one to turn to but you, Uncle Willie.
People are always turning to me. I wish they'd stop.
It's desperate. It's about Tracy.
Tracy? What's she up to now? Tracy this and Tracy that. Upstairs and downstairs and in me lady's chamber.
How did you know?
Know what?
Well, it seems to me I know just about everything.
I have a fund of information accumulated through the years. I'm old, seasoned, and full of instruction. There are gaps in my knowledge. Ask me about falconry, say, or ballistics, and you get nowhere.
I meant more about people and sin.
And only they are inseparable. I also know that the one consolation for being old is the realization that however you live, you'll never die young. Get to the point, child. What do you want of me?
Advice.
On what subject or subject?
Well, look, you don't like George, do you?
Kittredge? I deplore him.
And you'd like it if Tracy didn't go ahead and marry him after all. Or would you?
Where do you go to school?
I don't yet. I'm going someplace next fall.
High time. Like it. I would cheer. I would raise my voice in song.
Well, I didn't know where to stop her from, but I need advice on how.
Oh, proceed, child. Proceed cautiously.
Suppose she all of a sudden developed an illicit passion for someone.
Can you arrange it?
Doesn't need to be. It is already.
Ah, since when?
Since last night and well into the morning.
You surprised me then.
Imagine what I was. Just imagine what George would be.
And do the object of this illicit passion?
Let him be nameless. Only tell me. Should I tell George? It's getting late.
Maybe I want to marry her anyway.
Or she can't. She marries anyone it's got from Mr. Connor.
Connor? Why Connor?
She's just got to. That's all.
Why, Dinah, what makes you think she should?
Dexter.
Isn't that a pretty big order to swing at this late date?
I didn't say anything. What did I say?
Of course, you might talk it over with her first, but maybe you have.
Certainly not. I haven't.
Apparently, the little cherub has seen or heard something.
That's Dexter's own Dinah.
I must say, you show a certain amount of cheek, walking in here on this of all mornings.
Tracy just did a very sweet thing. She telephoned and asked me what to do for a feeling of fright, accompanied by headache.
I should think it would be bad luck for her first husband to see the bride before the wedding.
That's what I figured. Now, what's all this talk about Connor, Dinah? Did the party give you bad dreams?
Wasn't any dream.
I wouldn't be too sure. Once you've gone to bed, it's pretty hard to tell, isn't it?
Is it?
But you'll have it is. It's practically impossible.
I thought it was Sandy's typewriter woke me up.
Good morning. Isn't it a fine day, though? Is everybody fine? That's fine. I'm Harvey.
How are you otherwise?
I don't know what's the matter with me. I must have had too much sun yesterday.
It's awfully easy to get too much.
My eyes don't open properly. Please go home, Dex.
It's not until we get those eyes open.
Uncle Willie, good morning.
That remains to be seen.
Aren't you here early?
Weddings get me out like nothing else.
It's nearly 12:30.
It can't be.
Maybe it can't, but it is.
Where's Mother?
Do you want her?
No! No, I just wondered.
She's talking with the orchestra and father with the minister.
Dr. Parsons already?
And Miss Ember's gone with her camera to shoot the horses, and Sandy says it's going to be Mr. Connor. Well, he hasn't come down yet.
And it's Saturday.
Thanks loads. It's nice to have things accounted for. Only I wonder what this might be.
Looks terribly like a wristwatch.
But whose? I found it in my room this morning. I nearly stepped on it.
Getting out of bed?
Yes, why?
I just wondered.
There's another mystery, Uncle Willie.
Mysteries irritate me.
I was robbed at your house last night.
You don't say.
Yes, my bracelet and engagement ring are missing everywhere.
Probably someone's house guest from New York.
Here you are.
You weren't at the party,
Wasn't I?
were you?
Don't tell me you don't remember.
Oh, I do. Of course I do. There's a lot of people.
You should have taken a quick swim to shake off. There's nothing like a swim after a late night.
I swear.
There, another open.
That was just the beginning, and it was no dream.
Don't you think, sir, that if you and I went to the pantry, speaking of eye-openers,
The only sane remark I've heard this morning. I know a formula that is said to pop the pennies off the eyelids of dead Irishmen.
oh, and Dinah, if conversation drags, you might tell Tracy about your dream.
What did he say?
Oh, nothing. Trey, I hate that you married to go away.
I'll miss you, darling. I'll miss all of you.
We'll miss you too. It isn't like when you married Dexter and just moved down the road with us.
We'll be back often. It's only Wilkes-Barre.
Right.
Maybe.
You know, I had the funniest dream about you last night.
Did you? What was it?
It was terribly interesting and awfully scary. Did you guys
Undressed, Dinah?
Yes, ever so much.
Feels awfully heavy. You better rush and get ready yourself.
You know me, I don't take a minute.
Turn around, Tracy. Ah, yes, it looks lovely.
What is that scratching sound I hear?
The orchestra tuning. Oh, yes, I'm glad we decided against the blue one. But your father, I feel completely impersonal about all this. I can't quite grasp it. Get dressed, time.
That sun certainly is bright, all right, isn't it?
It was up awfully early.
Was it?
Unless I dreamed that, too. It's supposed to be the longest day of the year or something, isn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it for a minute.
It was certainly pretty rooty-tooty, all right.
What was?
My dream.
Dinah, you're going to have to learn sooner or later that no one is interested in anyone else's dreams.
I thought I got up and went over to the window and looked out across the lawn. And guess what I thought I saw coming over out of the woods?
I haven't the faintest idea. Skunk?
Well, sort of. It was Mr. Connor.
Mr. Connor.
Yes, with both of his arms full of something. And guess what it turned out to be?
What?
You! And some clothes. But wasn't it funny? It was sort of as if you were coming from the pool.
I'm going crazy. I'm standing here solidly on my own two hands going crazy. Then what?
Then I thought I heard something in the hall, and when it opened the door crack, and there he was still coming along with you, puffing like a steam engine. His wind can't be very good.
And then what?
And then you were sort of crooning.
I never crooned in my life.
I guess it just sort of sounded like you were. And he, guess what?
Couldn't possibly.
Then he just sailed right into your room with you, and that scared me so that I just flew back to bed. Or thought I did. And pulled the covers up over my head and laid there shaking and thinking if that's the way it is, why didn't she just marry him instead of old George? And then I must have fallen into faster sleep because the next thing I knew, it was 8 o'clock and the typewriter was still going. So in a minute, I got it and went to your door and peeked in to make sure you were all right. And guess what?
What?
You were. He was gone by then.
Gone. Of course he was gone. He was never there.
I know, Tracy.
Well, I should certainly hope you did.
I'm sort of glad I do, because if I didn't, and if in a little while I heard Dr. Carson saying, if anyone knows me as cause, please write next to me. I just wouldn't know what to do. It was all only a dream.
Naturally.
I know. Dexter says so.
Dexter?
Yes, he said.
You told Dexter all that?
Not a word, not one single word, but you know how quick he is.
Stand the Lord to little thing! Oh, God.
Tracy, the next time you marry, choose a different man of God, will you? This one wears me out. Good heavens. Dinah, get into your clothes. You look like a tramp.
I'm going.
Father,
Yes, Tracy.
I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, child.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm a disappointment to you.
I never said that, daughter. And I never will. Where's your mother? Where's George?
Good morning.
Hello.
I was taking the air, and I like it, but it does not like me. Hello, Dinah.
How do you do?
Did you have a good sleep?
You're wonderful. How about you?
Marvelous. You ever seen a handsomer day?
Never. Why did it such a bad?
Not for nothing for being a good girl.
Good.
I'm going. Don't worry.
Why should you?
I guess you must have things you wish to discuss.
What are you talking about?
Only remember, it's getting late. Some of them are in already. Mine, they look sound. I'll be ready when you are.
She's always trying to make situations. So, how is your work coming? In doing us up brown?
Well, somehow I've lost my angle.
How do you mean?
Well, I just got so damn tolerant all at once, I doubt if I'll ever be able to write another line.
You are a fella, Mike.
Or the mug of this world, I don't know.
Well, when you're at work you ought to be doing, you'll soon see the tolerance. What's the matter with your chin?
Yeah, does it show?
A little, what happened?
I guess I just stuck it out too far.
Into the door?
That's it. Are you all right, Tracy?
Me? Of course. Why shouldn't I be?
That was a flock of wine we put away.
I've never felt better in my life.
Well, that's fine. That's just Daisy.
I suppose we're both lucky to have such good heads.
I suppose.
Must be awful for people who, you know, get out and make speeches or try to start a fight or, you know, misbehave in general.
Yes, it certainly must.
Must be some sort of hidden weakness coming out.
Weakness? I'm not so sure of that.
I had a simply marvelous time last night, and I hope you enjoyed it too.
Sure, I enjoyed the last part of it.
Really? Well, especially the last.
Are you asking me, Tracy?
Oh, you mean the swim? Yes. We did swim and so forth, didn't we?
Yeah, we swam and so forth. Tracy, you darling, darling girl. What can I say to you? Tell me, darling.
Nothing, don't say anything, and especially not darling.
Never in this world will I ever forget
Nor
you.
anything I said.
You're going to go through with the thing.
Through with what?
The wedding.
Why shouldn't I?
Well, you see, I've made a funny discovery. That in spite of the fact someone might be up from the bottom, he might be quite a heel. And though someone might be born to the purple, he might be quite a guy. Well, Helen, just saying what you said last
I
night.
said a lot of things last night, it seems.
All right. No dice. But remember, no regrets about last night.
Why? Should I have?
That's it. That is the stuff. You are aces. You are wonderful, Tracy.
I'm asking you straight up. You don't understand. Tell me any reason why I should feel any reason wrong. No. Just tell me, what time is it?
It's, what's happened to my wristwatch?
Why? Is it broken?
I must have lost it somehow.
I can't tell you how extremely sorry I am to hear that.
That's all right. I'd always just as soon rather not know the time.
There. On the table.
What? Oh, for the love of God, who found it? I'll give a reward or something.
Oh, I don't think any reward will be expected.
Now then, this medicine indicated in cases of... Hello, Connor. How are you?
How did you think? Is that for me?
For Tracy. Why? Would you like one?
I would sell my grandmother for a drink, and you know how I love my grandmother.
Uncle Willie's around in the pantry doing weird and wonderful things. Just tell him I said one of the same.
All right, if I say two.
That's between you and your grandmother. And fine, Liz. Doctor's orders tray.
What is it?
Just the juice of a few flowers. Quite. And one other simple ingredient. It's called a stinger. It removes the stinger.
Dexter, don't say that.
Why not, Trey?
Nothing will. Nothing ever can. Oh, Dexter. I've done the most terrible thing to you.
To me, did you say? I doubt it, right? I doubt that very much.
You don't know. You don't know.
Maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, you've got to. I couldn't stand it if you didn't. Dexter, what am I going to do?
But why do we? Where do I come into it anymore? Aren't you confusing me with someone else? A fellow named Kittredge or something? Yes, George Kittredge. Splendid chap, very high morals, very broad shoulders. Tell him what?
I've got to tell him.
But if he's got any brains at all, he'll have realized by this time what a fool he made of himself when he...
What? Hello, George? George, it's Tracy. Listen, I don't care if it's bad luck or anything, but I've got to see you for a minute before the wedding. What? What note? I didn't get any notes. When? Why didn't someone tell me? All right, George. Come on the run. I sent a note over at 10 o'clock.
I thought he'd come to his senses.
Was he here too?
Sure.
My God. Why didn't you sell tickets?
Finish your drink.
Well,
There's always the hope.
You rang, miss?
Thomas, yes. Isn't there a letter for me from Mr. Kittredge somewhere?
I believe it was put on the hall table upstairs. Mrs. Lord said not to disturb.
Well, I'd like to have it if I'm...
Very well, miss.
Say something next. Anything.
No, you do.
I'm wicked. I'm such an unholy mess of a girl.
That's no good, Trey. That's not even conversation.
But never in all my life, not if I live to be 100, will I forget the way that you tried to stand me back up on my feet again this morning.
You're in grand shape. Tell me, what did you think of my wedding present? I at least like my presents to be acknowledged.
It's beautiful and sweet.
She was quite a boat, the true love.
Was?
She had your initials. Did you ever realize that?
No, I never did.
Neither did I, till I last saw her. But we missed it. Aye. She was Yar.
She was Yar, all right. I wasn't.
Wasn't what? Not very. You were good at the bright work, though. I'll never forget you down on your knees on the deck every morning with your little can of polish.
I wouldn't even let you help, would I?
Not even me.
I made her shine. Where is she now?
In the yard at 700 acre, getting gone over. I'm going to sell it a rufus waitress at Oyster Bay.
You're going to sell the true love?
Why not?
For money?
He wired an offer yesterday.
To that fat old rum pot?
What the hell does that
Well,
matter?
she's too clean, or she's too young.
I know, but when you're through with them, won't you? That is, unless, of course, you should want her. Of course, she's only really good for racing and only comfortable for 2 people, and not so damn so for them. So I naturally fall out. If you should want her.
No. I don't want her.
I'm going to design another along a little more practical lines.
Are you?
I started the drawings a couple weeks ago.
And what will you call her?
But the true love, too. What do you think?
If you call any boat that, I swear I will blow you and it right out of
I
the
know
water.
it's not very nice.
Oh, just try it is all. I'll tell you what you can call her.
What?
In fond remembrance of me.
What?
The easy virtue.
Trey, I'll be damned if I'll have you thinking such things of yourself.
What would you have me think?
I don't know, but I do know that virtue so-called is more than a single misstep or 2.
You don't think so?
I know so. Something inherent, something regardless of anything.
Yes.
You're wrong. The occasional misdeeds are often as good for the person as the more persistent virtues. That is, the person is still there. Maybe you haven't committed enough, Trey. Maybe this is your coming of age.
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
That sounds very hopeful. That'll do just fine.
I'll be still you. Thank you, Thomas.
You're practically all in, miss. Quite a number, standing in the back. All our best wishes.
Thanks, Thomas. Thanks very much.
And ours too, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Trey! He's here, he's arrived!
Who has?
Kid, Sydney Kid.
What for? What does he want?
May I scream?
What the hell?
Oh, now I remember.
Well, I should hope so. I haven't been to bed at all. I gave him the profile and he's reading it now. I couldn't stand it.
Profile? What profile?
The kid himself, complete with photographs. You want to see a copy?
Holy St. Rose of South Bend.
Offered in exchange for girls of us. I told him I want to help you both of it.
I don't think you'll find it so hard to resign now, Mike. Me neither.
That's all right with me.
Belts be worn a little tighter this winter.
I'll see how it's bearing up.
I'm afraid it's the deadline, Tracy.
So is this. Listen. My dear Tracy, your conduct last night was so shocking to my ideals of womanhood that my attitude toward you and the prospects of a happy and useful life together has changed materially. Your, to me, totally unexpected breach of common decency, not to mention the moral aspect, certainly...
Tracy!
Hello, George.
Tracy, all these people?
Only a letter from a friend. They're my friends, too. Not to mention the moral aspect, certainly entitles me to a full explanation before going through with our proposed marriage. In the light of day, I am sure that you will agree with me. Otherwise, with profound regrets and all best wishes, yours very sincerely. Yes, George, I have. In the light of day or the dark of night, or richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. And thank you so very much for your kind wishes at this time.
That's all you've got to say?
What else? I wish for your sake as well as mine I'd have an explanation, George, but unfortunately I've none. You just better say good riddance to me.
Well, it isn't easy, you know.
Say something stupid.
Wait a minute. You'll grant I had the right to be angry and very
You
angry.
certainly have. You certainly have.
For your sake as well, you said.
Yes, it would be nice to know.
You say something?
Wait.
What for?
Enough rope.
Very eve of your wedding. An affair with another
I
man.
told you already. I agreed, George, and I tell you again, good riddance to me.
Well, that's for me to decide.
I wish you would. A little more quickly.
Look, Kid Church,
But there's a way to make you see, George, that in spite of everything, or maybe even because of it, somehow I feel more of a person, George.
That's a little difficult to understand.
Yes, I can see how.
Not necessarily.
You keep out of
You
it.
forget I am out of it.
It just might interest you to know that the so-called affair consisted of exactly 2 kisses and one rather late swim.
Thanks, Mike.
All
There's
of
no
which
need to
I
tell-
thoroughly enjoyed, in the memory of which I wouldn't part
Oh,
with for
it's not
anything.
your fault.
After which, I accompanied her to her bed, deposited her on her bed, and returned to you two here on your porch, as you might remember.
Obviously. You mean to say that's all there was to it?
I do.
Why? Was I so damn unattractive?
This is fine.
I'm asking a question!
You were extremely attractive. And as for distant and forbidding, on the contrary. But you were also the worse. Or the better for wine, and there are rules about that, damn it.
Thank you, Mike. I think men are wonderful.
The little dears.
Well, that's a relief, I'll admit. Still, I'm not...
Where's the difference, eh? If my wonderful, marvelous, beautiful virtue is still intact, it's no thanks to me, I assure you.
I don't think
It
that's
is
very...
purely due to the courtesy of this gentleman from South Bay.
Local papers, please copy.
I failed to see the humor in this situation, Miss
I
Emery.
appreciate that. It was a little hard for me too at first.
Listen.
It's all right, Tracy. Look, we all go a little haywire at times, and if we don't, maybe we should. Yes. You see, Mr. Kittredge, it wasn't Tracy at all. It was another girl, a Miss Pomeroy, 1926.
You had too much to drink.
Yes, that seems to be the consensus of opinion.
Will you promise me never to touch the stuff again?
No, George. I don't believe I will. There were certain things about that other girl I rather liked.
But a man expects his wife
To
to...
behave herself, naturally.
Behave herself naturally, sorry. But if it hadn't been for the drink last night, all this might not have happened.
But apparently nothing did. What made you think it had?
Well, it didn't take much imagination, I can tell you
Maybe
that.
not. Just of a certain kind.
Well, it seems you didn't think any too well of yourself.
That's the funny thing, George. Somehow I would hope that you would think more of me than I did.
I'm not going to quibble, Tracy. All of the evidence was there.
And I was guilty straight off. That is until proved innocent.
Well, downright un-American, if you ask me. No one is asking you.
Listen! He's ready! Holy cats, guess what?
What?
He loves it! He said it's brilliant, he wants it for Destiny!
I give up.
Who wants what?
Sidney Kidd. Sidney Kidd.
Sidney Kidd? Is here himself?
Big as life and twice as handsome. Boy, is this wedding a national affair now!
Well, that's extremely kind and thoughtful of you. Come on, Tracy. It must be late. Let's let bygones be bygones. What do you say? I don't understand.
Please. Goodbye.
But what on earth?
I imagine she means your explanation is inadequate.
Look here,
You're
Tracy.
too good for me, George. You're 100 times too good.
I never said
and I
that I
make
was...
you most unhappy, but that is, I do my best to.
Well, that's the way you want it.
That's the way it is.
Right? Possibly it's just as well. I thought you'd eventually think so. I've got a feeling you had more to do with this than anyone.
A novel and interesting idea, I'm sure.
You and your whole rotten class.
Oh, classmate.
Funny, I heard a truck driver say that yesterday, only with a short A.
Listen, you're on your way out, the lot of you, and don't think you aren't. Yes, good riddance.
There goes George.
Sainted arms. Doctor of faces! What in the name of all that's holy am I going to do?
You forgot your hat, Miss Tracy.
God. Oh dear God, have mercy on Tracy.
Tracy,
Yes, Mike?
forget the license.
License.
I've got one here, one we never used, Maryland being quicker.
Forget it. Oh, Parson, he's never seen Kittredge, has he? Nor most of the others. I got you into this mess, I'll get you out. Will you marry me, Tracy?
No, Mike. Thanks. But no.
Now listen, asked the girl to marry me before. Why not?
Because I don't think Liz would like it very much. And I'm not sure you would. I'm even a little doubtful about myself. I'm beholden to you, like I'm most beholden.
They're in there, they're waiting.
Don't get too conventional all at once, will you? There'll be a reaction.
Liz.
I count on you sustaining the mood.
That's all right, Tracy. You've been got out of jams before.
Being got out of them, did you say?
That's what I said. Don't worry. You always are.
Tracy, we met George in the hall. It's all right, darling. Your father will make a very simple statement.
Is there anything special you want me to say?
Thanks. No. No, if there's any statement to be made, I'll make it myself. I won't be got out of anything anymore. Thanks.
What's a lack? What's a miss?
Oh, this just can't be happening. It can't.
Hello. Good morning. Listen, I'm terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting, but there's been a little hitch in the proceedings. I've made a terrible fool of myself, which isn't unusual, and my fiancé, that is, he thinks we'd better call it a day, and I quite agree with him. So, Dexter will get him next.
2 years ago, you were invited to a wedding in this house, and I did you out of it by eloping to Maryland.
2 years ago, you were invited to a wedding in this house, and I did you out of it by eloping to
Will you
Maryland.
put this in your vest pocket?
I haven't got it.
Hold it in your hand.
Dexter!
Which was very bad manners.
Which was very bad manners.
And I hope to make it up to you now by going through with it as originally planned.
And I hope to make it up to you now by going through it.
I'd like you to be my best man if you will, Mike, because
As originally
I think you're one hell of a guy.
I would be honored to see Kay.
Because
Ladies,
something
follow
awful
me.
else about a wedding. I don't know,
No
you're
rushing,
gay and
please.
attractive, but I'm always one.
So if you please keep your seats a minute.
So, if you'll please keep your seats a minute.
That's all.
That's all. Dexter, I'm sure.
Not in the least. But I'll risk it. Will you?
You bet. I need him just to soften the blow.
No, Trey.
Or to save my face.
It's a nice little face.
I'll be your now. I promise to be your.
Do whatever you like. You're my redhead. That's all. All set?
All set. How did this ever happen?
Don't inquire. Go on, Dinah. Tell Mr. Dutton to start the music.
I did it all.
Daughter,
I love you, Father.
and I love you, daughter.
Never in all my life have I been so filled with love before.
See you soon, Red.
See you soon, Dex. How do I look?
Like a queen, like a goddess.
Do you know how I feel?
How?
Like a human. Like a human being.
And is that all right?